Everyone, mark your calendars. The BDO retreat is back for its 5th and final year, and we're taking you to sunny Key Largo, Florida on January 16th and 17th. This is not some typical stuffy conference. I'm talking real strategy, real takeaways, and real conversation and growth with the best in the biz. We're talking game-changing workshops, killer conversations over dinner, and sunsets that'll make you even forget you're on a work trip. Spots are limited. Tap the link in the show notes to register now.
Warning: the views and opinions expressed in this program are our own and/or those of our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of our employers. Viewers' discretion is advised.
The only way you grow is to be able to allow somebody to help you out. Otherwise, you're always going to be stuck at a certain level.
It's sales, entrepreneurship, anything where you're really going out there making it happen and you're eating what you kill.
Yeah.
Work-life balance is like, it just doesn't exist. You're absolutely right.
No, if you want to be great.
And the truthfulness is awesome. Like, you're not beating around it and trying to like sugarcoat it or put a pink hue on it. You're like, no, get rid of the filters. This is what it is. Ray ran. He just started running with the podcast. So before you got on, Ray, Pattie said, are you from Chicago? Because remember, Sam said the same thing about my accent when we were on the episode.
Oh yeah, I can kind of see that because you're up in Syracuse, so it is a weird accent.
Yeah, it's very
weird.
Chicago.
Thanks.
Yeah, you sound like if pizza could talk. I feel like, I don't know.
Deep dish pizza.
Exactly.
I literally understand exactly what you mean, which is amazing. That's good.
It's funny.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the BDO Show. It's a podcast for passionate BDOs wanting to level up their game with advice and stories from battle-tested BDOs. I'm your host, Emily Detor, and I'm here with my fellow co-host, Ray Drew. At the beginning of each episode, we are always going to remind you to like, subscribe, and send over topics and suggestions to the BDO Show at artofsba.com. And do not forget to check out our whole family of shows, SBA Today, which airs live every week, as well as our flagship program, the Art of SBA Lending Podcast. BDOs. Have you ever had a borrower bring in like a brother-in-law to do their life insurance? Doesn't end well, does it? We've all been there. When you require life insurance on your SBA loan, it's critical that you bring in a company that specializes in getting these policies in place for the SBA loans. The last thing you want is for life insurance to be the holdup. We all know that's a rookie mistake. SBA Protection Quick Close Life Insurance is the fastest, easiest way to secure the insurance protection that your borrower needs for their SBA loan. Their process is simple, hassle-free, and only takes a few minutes of your borrower's time. No lengthy paperwork, no complicated forms. They even have programs that don't require labs or doctor records for approval. And best of all, you will have the collateral assignment back in less than 24 hours. It's a no-brainer. Go to sbaprotection.com for more information or email Adam Bergen at adam@sbaprotection.com. Okay, so today's episode, we're really excited to have our friend Pattie Ehsaei on. We've been looking forward to this as I think you're a force of nature in many ways. I think that you have been a shining example for women everywhere. So why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of background?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And it's about time you had a woman on this podcast.
It's been a while.
I'm so tired of the finance bros getting on here. So
they're stupid Patagonias. They got to get them out.
Exactly. So I'm happy to be here. So yeah, I'm Pattie Ehsaei. I live in Los Angeles. Just a little bit about me. I used to be an attorney. I was an attorney for 5 years. I moved to California in 2001 from Chicago. And I kind of fell into finance. So I've done a lot of things in finance. I was a regional manager at Wells Fargo. I raised money for private equity funds. I did investment banking. And then I went back to a regional bank called Union Bank. I was the regional manager there at Union Bank. And then I went to Bank of California, where I was the manager in the SBA group. And then they basically dissolved their SBA department. And then I decided, you know what? I can still play ball. And I can do it better than most people. So I went back into production and have been killing it since. So that's me in a nutshell. And currently I'm with Port 51. We are a subsidiary of Mass Mutual, and I do SBA financing strictly.
Oh, that's amazing.
You're with a lot of my old friends from the early ReadyCap days.
Yes, exactly. Yes, they're all great too. I love working with them. They're amazing.
Some good ones there.
Yeah.
And you said you're originally from Chicago?
Well, no, I went to law school there.
Oh, law school
So,
in Chicago.
yes, I lived in a lot of places. I was born in Iran. I moved to Texas, of all places, when I was 7, and then we moved to Colorado. I went to high school and undergrad in Colorado, and then I went to law school in Chicago, and I practiced there for about 5 years.
Is anything tightening your corner in the SBA space and in the M&A space?
So, what I've seen in the market is a lot of lenders just tightening up. They are not lending like they used to be. Their credit box is getting tighter. I think it's also because of the tariffs too. There's a lot of uncertainty right now in the marketplace. Fortunately, we're not tightening up. There are certain lenders that aren't. And that's why I get a lot of business now because they're getting turned away from the Live Oaks or from the other big, huge SBA lenders because they're just not doing the types of deals that they used to do anymore. Even First Bank of the Lake is not doing the types of deals that they used to do anymore. So a lot of those deals are coming to us because we're still lending. And I'm very fortunate for that. But I just think the uncertainty in the market really plays a huge role when it comes to, our business.
Well, that's a good point too, because what I normally the cycles of SBA lending, it's like you make a bunch of loans, some loans go bad, you tighten up.
Right. Right.
So the lenders you mentioned have been here, putting a ton of deals on their books during, those periods of record low interest rates, and
Correct.
then rates shooting up, followed by, you name it. And the latest is
Hmm.
tariffs. That's just the latest of a bunch of
Right.
craziness we've been dealing with the past few years. But you guys, I mean, are you building your portfolio fresh? Do you have any of those, legacy loans in your portfolio?
No, we're building our portfolio fresh. And, I in August, I made a move from where I was First Bank to Port 51. And, First Bank was tightening up their belts just like everybody else was. And I'm just like, you know what? You always want to go as a lender or anyone that's in sales, you always want to go to a place that's growing, that's building, because that's when they're going to be the most aggressive. That's when they're going to want to do the most amount of loans and their portfolio hasn't taken a hit, to your point. So, that's why I went to Port 51 because, our portfolio is fresh. We haven't taken a hit yet. So because of that, I mean, we're doing very smart loans, obviously. We're not just lending to be lending, but we are very aggressive and we're putting good loans on the books.
It's so funny you say that because, well, first of all, any shop that hires Patty is going to be growing just because
Thank you. I
she's
appreciate you.
Patty. But I just realized so we're both top producing BDOs, and I never realized this until just now, but I've been at a growing shop every single year since I've been doing this. Like
Right.
the first 6 years at ReadyCap, we grew every single year.
Right.
Fundex grew, and then here, at Trueliant, it's growing.
Right.
So that's a great point. Yeah, it would be really depressing if you were not growing. I just thought that's standard.
Yes, and the problem is that a lot of BDOs get stuck in their banks or lending institutions. They're afraid to move. But I always bet on myself. That's it. I just need to make sure that you can get my deals done and then just let me go. I'm not afraid to make a move. I'm not afraid to go somewhere else because I have confidence in myself that I'm going to figure it out. And some BDOs don't have that confidence and they get stuck in these lending institutions that just tighten, tighten, tighten. They're not getting their deals done, they're not making any money, and if I'm not making any money, there's no point.
I'm hijacking a little bit here, Emily. I
You're
apologize, but
okay.
I'm just I'm going down this road because I'm just thinking, and my gears are turning, and so Patty is one of the most sort of like sustained careers in SBA of consistently being the top producer. In fact, I think you won the most
I
consistent
did.
BDO of the year award
I
when we did
did.
an
Thank you
award,
for that.
the
Yes.
Goatee. And so I'm sure it's right there, right off the camera.
No, I have it in my office. I'm actually in my home office today, but I do have it in my office. It's there.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Um, so because I see, so for me, the way I operate is I try to do deals with. It used to be like we call it good pricing, like can BDOs get good, or are you just selling and get, as the lowest price in your market, and that's why people are
Mhm.
doing with you. So like I get it from a customer standpoint. Everyone wants low interest rates. From a
Right.
BDO, I'm just saying you're probably more valuable if people are doing business with you for something other than interest rate. So
Absolutely.
I believe in that. Plus broker fees to me is the inverse of that. So like, I try to keep my average referral fee at 1%.
Mhm.
so that me myself am the most valuable BDO in the market, in terms of like, it's not the rates, it's not the fees, it's me is why all of this success is happening. What would your advice be for BDOs that are trying to figure out kind of where to play in the market?
Absolutely. So I think anytime someone asks me what my biggest competitive advantage is, I never answer the institution where I'm at. I never talk about rate. I never talk about any of that stuff. I always say my biggest competitive advantage is me. There is nobody else in the marketplace that's going to be like me, that's going to provide the service that I provide, that's going to get back to you faster than I get back to you, and that's going to get your deal done. Because at the end of the day, how many times have we seen deals come to us where bank has pre-approved them, right? At like prime plus 2, which is nothing, but they can't get the deal done. If you can't get the deal done, they can give you prime plus 1. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to get your deal across the finish line, and I am the competitive advantage. And if you just feel that confident about yourself each and every time, rate's not going to matter. And let me tell you, the customer sniffs it when you're desperate. They can smell desperation. Okay. When you're not desperate, and I am not, and no one should be, they sense that, they sense your confidence, and they understand that going with you is going to give them a lot more value than the 1/4% interest rate that they're going to get, which is less expensive from another institution.
I was also going to ask you about Marina. I don't know her very well, but I know that you work very closely with her. And so we were
Yeah.
kind of wondering what your approach and how you delegate and build trust within that team.
Marina and I started working together because the stuff that I like to do, she doesn't like to do. The stuff that she likes to do, I don't like to do. And, we are better together than apart, really. And the way that Marina and I divvy it up is I do all of the business development. I bring in the deal. I kind of do, look at it, make sure everything, all the components are there. And I send it to Marina, and she does all the write ups for credit. She does all the credit work. And that's the stuff I don't like to do. In fact, I hate doing that kind of stuff. So we understand that, put a gun in my head, I could do what she does and vice versa, but we understand that we are better as a team. And when you understand that you're better as a team and you're going to make more money as a team, then you have to make it work. There are times when Marina and I very rarely have disagreements on things. There are times where we may not see eye to eye, again, very rarely, but we both respect each other. We both want each other to win, and we don't backstab one another. And, we know that we go as a team together. Both of us have been offered positions separately to go to other lending institutions, and so much money have been thrown at us, but we won't go because we understand that being a team really works for us. And just think of it this way: if she's busy, someone can get in touch with me. If they can't get in touch with Marina, they can always call me. If they can't get in touch with me, they can get in touch with Marina. I mean, that level of service is really unheard of in the industry, because if you're only one person, you only have a limited amount of time and capacity. But this, being two people, allows us to service our clients a lot better, and they love it.
How long did it take to get you guys to be that cohesive? Like,
Well,
was it
Marina
instant?
Yeah, Marina worked for me for years. She was on my team at Union Bank. She was a BDO and RM on my team at Union Bank before she and I started working together. So prior to working together as a team like this, Marina and I worked together for about 3 or 4 years. So
Mm.
we already knew each other. We had a great rapport. I knew her skill set. We really became friends. Even when we were working together and she was on my team, we became really good friends. So that was also helpful. And, it just like anything else, when you first start being a team, there's things to iron out as far as what you do, what I do, how things work. But it fell into place pretty quickly. I would say within like the first month, we had a really good idea of, where we each were going to go and how it was going to be played out.
Okay, BDOs, it's story time. And no, I am not talking about the time Sterling tried to finance a zoo. You'll have to go back to episode 3 for that. I'm talking about the story that your borrower has in their head and they may need that extra boost to finally get it onto paper. Rapid Business Plans is a known and trusted partner that can help them do just that. Whether your borrowers are working towards acquiring a business, starting one up, or expanding and making moves, within just a few short days, Rapid Business Plans will deliver powerful, fast, SBA and USDA ready business plans with projections and assumptions. If they need an export business plan for an ITL loan or a feasibility study, they have you covered there too. We know this process is not a walk in the park, or should I say zoo. Let the Rapid Business Plans team take some of the wild out of the process so that your borrower's vision and passions can come to life. For more information or to get acquainted, email Bethany McClellan at bethany@rapidbusinessplans.com or click the link in the show notes.
I have a question because I operate in a similar fashion, and we brought on Cora, who used to be my BDA at ReadyCap, and then she went to go be a BDO at Synovus, and now she's here and she's in like an internal sales role, and I guess she's my Marina in a way. I have like these referral sources that have been doing business with me, and so we're splitting, up. We're tag teaming these deals, but some of these referral sources, they only want to deal with me.
Yeah.
And I'm so like, yes, like this last week I was like, because I already have introduced, it's a very slow sort of transition. We're doing a 12-month sort of plan to really bring it all together. And I talked to one of my good referral sources. I looped in Cora. We talked, I'm doing other things too. So I just want to be able to make sure we get back to you fast. And Cora's like here all day, ready to, chop it up on these deals with you. And I come in and I, I make decisions, and I look at deals and I solve problems, and I try to do the things that are the best use of my time. But then he called me last week and he's like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And it took me 3 days to connect with him. I felt bad. I was like, and then he asked me about a deal. I was like, "Dude, why didn't you call Cora? I told you, you can call Cora." Do you run into any of that?
Yeah, I did in the beginning for sure. I did in the beginning for sure because, people had built trust with me, and you go naturally to the person that you have built trust with, right? So I think what I did to overcome that is in every conversation, I just started including Marina. If they would call me, I'd get Marina on the call right away. I
Yep.
three-way us. So, and I would let her take over the conversation just so they're comfortable with her skill set, what she has to offer. And within 1 minute of speaking with Marina, they understood that she's very capable and that they don't necessarily need to go with me. And with certain things, she's better at me
That's
than
exactly.
me. Right. So
Exactly.
yeah. So and they saw that, and they slowly started to build trust to where some of our repeat clients just go directly to Marina at this point. If it's a deal that's all set and done, they don't have, there aren't a lot of extraneous things that just directly go to Marina. So it takes time, but I think looping her in the conversations and allowing her to build trust with your COIs, I think that's how you do it.
Well, you just nailed it, because you actually, that's similar to my approach. But the thing that's, I guess, unique in what we're doing is that we're okay doing that, right?
Right.
Like we're okay letting go and giving them
Yes.
the space to earn that trust. Whereas a lot of
Yes.
BDOs are so set on micromanaging
Right.
everything that they want help, they bring in help, but then they don't actually give them the autonomy to go out and do things. So what would you say to BDOs that just are really hesitant to give up any sort of control over the process?
The only way you grow is to be able to allow somebody to help you out. Otherwise, you're always going to be stuck at a certain level. Again, because you only have a certain amount of capacity. Every one of us does. And I think allowing to let go really comes from my experience as a manager, in that I really worked on delegating things to other people and trusting that they could do it. So I trained them and I trusted them that they could do it. And then I worked with them if there were mistakes, if things that happened that weren't supposed to happen. We worked together, we ironed that out. But if you're going to be the only one that's going to be doing everything, you're always going to be capped out at a certain level of production. You will never grow your production if you don't learn to delegate to other people.
Yeah, I totally agree. For some reason, when you guys are talking about like kind of letting go and you can't grow unless you have help. It makes me think of those plants that you have to stick a little ladder in order to get the vine to kind of move up a little, or it won't grow right. It's
Right.
just a little bit of help, and it'll be a beautiful plant. So
Absolutely.
I come up with these weird analogies sometimes, but that just is what
No, I love
I was
it.
thinking of when I was thinking of Marina and Cora. I was
Mhm.
also going to ask you, so when you tell a broker and you're like, or a referral partner, like you can trust Marina or you can trust Cora,
Mhm.
and then they don't, it's like they trust you and they know that you've done a good job by them. It's kind of wild that they wouldn't just be like, I trust Ray, and I trust that Pattie wouldn't lead us into, put us into a person's hands that can't handle this. So
Right.
that's just kind of it. That's a very interesting.
I get it though,
battle.
because it's like they're doing business with you, right? I mean, and so if you transition, I mean, it's like a tough transition. They have to be able to jive. I mean, it's a lot of this is just about chemistry, and I have good chemistry with my referral sources. Some I don't, and then we just don't end up doing business. So if it doesn't, jive the same way, I mean, I expected there to be churn like with this because of that. Like I expected if I'm doing 40, that I'm gonna maybe drop down to 30 because of this. And then maybe I have to rebuild it up a little bit. Because a lot of it is just, kind of like chemistry.
And then Pattie, I was also going to ask, like, you're a consistent producer. We know this now.
How much are we doing, by the way? Where are we at?
30 million?
Give us some numbers.
Nice.
Year to date, about 30.
Oh, that's year to date.
Yeah.
Woo! Well, we're in July still. You're on a heater. You're on a heater. You guys better pay attention over here.
Well, that's what I was going to ask is, what are some pillars or daily practices that you credit for sustaining this level of performance?
I work harder than anybody else I know.
Good. And, every BDO should.
Doesn't sound sustainable, but go on.
No, you know what? It really is. I don't have any kids. I'm not married. I don't have a plant. I don't have a dog. I don't have anything that requires me to take care of it. And that's by design.
Damn you.
Because, right?
Ray's like, I got all those things.
I got a plant. I even got a plant. But go on. Yeah.
But I mean, there are plenty of people that are super successful, like Ray, and that have a wife and kids or whatnot. But the term work-life balance, it doesn't exist when you're great at anything, whether it be a BDO, whether it's LeBron James, whether, if you're a top person doing anything, work-life balance doesn't exist.
This is why I love Pattie. This is why I love Pattie.
Because that's the truth.
Right?
All these people talking about work-life balance. And I get it. In sales, though, in sales, entrepreneurship, anything where you're really going out there, making it happen, and you're eating what you kill. Work-life balance is like, it just doesn't exist. You're absolutely right.
No, if you want to be great, you want to be great, there are people I know that go on vacation that turn off their phones or go on, maternity leave. Again, if that's what you want to do, that's great. Turn off their phones for 3 or 4 months, and that's fine. But those are all mediocre performers. Every single top performer I know does not have a work-life balance. And if they tell you they do, they're lying, period. So I am always accessible. Doesn't matter what time. If I am awake, I answer the phone. Doesn't matter what time of day. Doesn't matter what time of night. There has never been a time where I've gone on vacation where I haven't logged on to email at least once a day, at least. And, and I have backup, Marina's my backup, but I still do that. And I think one thing I do consistently every single day, I market every single day. Always be calling, right? ABC, always be calling. There's not a day that goes by that I don't market, because you never know when the phone's going to stop ringing, man. That phone can stop ringing at any given second. And I'm going to be the one that's going to answer the phone when the banker that you try to call didn't.
This is the stuff I'm talking about. So I want everyone to hear all of this, because especially all of these new BDOs that are curious as to what it takes. And some of these guys want to get to 100 million. You got to go. I mean, you've got to really go out there. And it's hard. I mean, to do it over time, sustainable, like in a sustainable way, is like, I don't even think you can. I mean, honestly, I feel like you have Marina, so maybe that helps. If you were doing it by yourself, if you were doing the same levels with no help you will burn out over the course of, 10 years, like you will just absolutely burn out. But there's a lot of like people coming from underwriting and closing that are trying to dip their toes into the BDO, BDA. People are trying to dip their toes into becoming a BDO right now. You're seeing this too.
Everyone wants to be a BDO.
Well, you make it look so glamorous, and we make it look so fun, and we just post a little tombstone and then we go back to the golf course.
Right. They don't, everybody wants to be a BDO. nobody wants to put in the time to be a successful BDO. It's just like, my trainer once told me, everyone wants to look like an athlete, but no one wants to live like one. And that's the same thing for being a BDO. It's hard. And yeah, to be honest, I'm not going as hard as I did when I first started to build my business. And that's because I don't have to. I have people calling me multiple times a day with deals, right? But in the beginning, I didn't. So until you build your pipeline, until you build your portfolio, you have to go hard all of the
So
time.
hard. So
So,
hard.
like, beyond hard. Yeah, beyond hard. And your friends are gonna get annoyed, your family's gonna get annoyed. "Oh, you're on your phone again, you're always doing business," whatever. I don't care. This is what my focus
This is
is
what it
now.
takes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it
absolutely.
takes. And yeah, no, it's good to hear it, because I think a lot of people from all sides are hear that, and they're either saying, "Good, I'm gonna keep going, and hopefully this pays off," or it's like, maybe this isn't worth it. Maybe I don't want to do that, because it's not for everyone. But I will say, it is a really great job. Like, even despite that, the rewards are great. The flexibility is great. I mean, you're basically doing it to
Yes.
yourself, and you
It's
get to
your own
help
business.
and you
You
get to
run
help
your own
business
business.
owners. Every day
Ab
is different, a lot of upside. So
Yeah.
I think it is the best job in the world,
The
honestly,
earning
all things.
potential is huge.
Yeah.
Patty, in your early days of becoming a BDO and successful,
Mhm.
like what were your tactics? Were you going into offices, dropping off cookies, cold calling? What type of things were you doing before, people were coming to you?
So I'm gonna tell you a story. So
Yeah, this is what I wanted. Story time.
when I first, how I fell into finance, I came to California. I passed the bar. I was gonna go work for a bankruptcy firm. I was at a job fair for one of my friends, not even for me, and Wells Fargo was there. I started talking to Wells Fargo. The person really, really liked me, and it was in their merchant services group. This is how I got into sales. Merchant services group.
That's tough.
And yeah, and he said, "Do you wanna come work for us?" And I'm like, "I'm a lawyer. You want me to, like, schlep merchant services?" And this is in 2001. And he said, and I started talking to him, and this is really important for the younger people to listen to, is that I looked for advancement opportunities. Again, you want to be in an organization that's growing. And he said, if you do well, within 6 months, you could be a territory manager. Within a year, you could be a regional manager. And that is what caught my eye. I wasn't short sighted like a lot of the generation is now. I wasn't thinking, okay, what am I going to do today? It was what's going to happen in the long run. So I said, and I was waiting for my bar results, so I couldn't work anyway. I'm like, you know what? Let me try this out. Let me see what happens. I kid you not. The first day, I had just moved to Los Angeles, so I didn't know the San Fernando Valley was the hottest place on earth. It's like
Mhm.
hell, right, in the summer. And I had put on my red power suit that I wore for jury trials, heels. I was carrying this 20-pound like credit card machine and my pitch book in hand, walking down the street of Ventura Boulevard, going door to door, trying to get people to change their credit card processing to Wells Fargo. And if that is not a character builder, I don't know what is. I got kicked out of so many businesses. I hate Wells Fargo. Can't you read the dumb sign on the door, dummy? No soliciting. What are you, an idiot? Get out of here. I remember getting back in my car and my hair was like when I first started was just so nice. Like it was just like big frizz ball. My mascara dripped down my eyes. Like I looked like I was in a horror movie. I went to take off my shoe and the blood blister on my heel had stuck my shoe to my foot, to my foot. I could not take off the shoe, okay? That was how I started in sales. But you know what I did? I went home, I washed the day off me, literally, I burned that suit because I just sweat through it, and I changed my strategy. I'm like, "Okay, that's not a strategy, let me go somewhere else." And every day I did this over and over and over again, and I would see, okay, what worked, what didn't work. Okay, you learn from your failures. That's the only way you learn is from failure. You never learn from success. I've always said that. So I was like, okay, what didn't work? Let me make some adjustments. And I just adjusted to when within 4 months, I was the number one salesperson in the country. 2 months later, I was a territory manager. And actually, 3 months later, I was the regional manager. And then
Wow.
I kind of moved my way up. I was with Wells Fargo Merchant Services, and then I became a manager in the business banking division, and that's how I kind of moved my way up. But that's how I did it, man. It was blood, sweat, and tears, and that's what it takes.
Literally.
Literally, literally.
Do you still have that suit?
I do
I would have
because
kept it like a
honestly,
reminder.
because it reminds me
Yeah.
of what I had to do to get to where I am. When I'm sitting in my beautiful place, in Los Angeles, my office in Beverly Hills overlooking Saks Fifth Avenue, that reminds me of where I came from.
I love that, by the way. You should break it back out at some point, I think.
We'll see. It's really old.
Um, I did. I didn't realize that you were big on TikTok until Ray told me, which is awesome. I can't wait to look you up and check you out on there. And then you've since written a book. Because you guys talked about this on the Art of SBA podcast a while back, and then he said you wrote a book. So I kind of want an update about how the book went and the inspiration, because it sounds so exciting. I was looking at it today. I was like, "Ooh, dude can be anybody. This is great."
Yeah. So I got very lucky in that I got a book deal with Hachette, and I wrote a book, Never Date a Broke Dude: The Financial Freedom Playbook. And it's a
Mhm.
cheeky title, but it's not really about dating broke dudes. Although there's a chapter in there about
Yeah.
what lessons I learned in dating broke dudes. But it's about teaching people to be financially independent. And a broke dude I define as anyone that doesn't match your ambition, your drive, your work ethic, or commitment.
Right.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that the person is poor or rich or anything like. It's all about ambition. So, and I wrote it because, and it's very female centric, because women unfortunately do not learn about finances and think that they're worse in finances than men are, where study after study proves that women are actually better with money than men are.
Mhm.
So I wrote it because I think it's really important for women to understand how to make money, how to grow their money, and most importantly, how to keep it.
Yeah, and it's tough too because when you get a little older and you wanna start having a family, you're like, "I'm gonna relinquish my financial, stability and freedom over to my husband because
Yeah,
I'm gonna have the baby, and then that's what
right.
I'm gonna become a mother." So, it's
Correct.
kind of it I think that's a great way to say, like, "Hang on, although I do support that sometimes, just be aware of what finance is and how it can mold and move with you as you age, or if things change completely in
Correct.
your world altogether." So,
Yes.
I really do love that. I can't wait to
Wonderful.
I'm gonna read it.
All
So,
right, wonderful. It's great. You'll love it. Anyone that's ever read the book just has, great great reviews for it, raves about it, and it's for everybody. It's not just for people that are out there, not wanting to date a broke dude. It's for anyone that wants to build their financial independence and be financially free.
yeah, that's awesome. Hey, Ray, any, last questions or advice that you wanna ask?
No, I think we covered it all, and I really appreciate you stopping by, Patty. Your insights are always invaluable, and I really kind of appreciate the fresh take you kind of bring into this business.
And the truthfulness is awesome. Like, you're not beating around it and trying to, like, sugarcoat it or put pink a pink hue on
Yeah.
it. You're like, "No, get rid of the filters. This is what it is." I love
Well,
that.
Yeah,
it
like
is what it is, and this generation, unfortunately, doesn't Gen Z just does not wanna work a lot,
Yeah.
That's really the unfortunate thing, but they need to understand that they have to work if they wanna be successful.
Patty, thank you so much. It
Thank
was
you,
honestly an
guys.
honor to have you on our show. And
Thank
Ray,
you.
thanks for helping out as always. So, if anybody has any questions, topics, or suggestions, or wants to reach out to Patty, you can find her on LinkedIn. She has a book out that she was just talking about. And then if you have any topics or suggestions, you can send those over to the BDO Show at artofsba.com. And we'll see you next time.